I don't know, man. Yeah, Lennox Lewis. Lennox, I'm coming for you.
Mike, is it frustrating to train?
5 times, Lennox Lewis showed next level power. Lennox Lewis has definitely gone through boxing underrated in my opinion. He was the 7th Olympic gold medalist to become a heavyweight champion, successfully won 3 heavyweight champions and many more accomplishments. But despite his accomplishments, it's almost like he's gone unnoticed, pushed behind the shadows of Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, and more. That's why in today's video we're going through 5 times Lennox Lewis showed next level power. Let's put the spotlight on Lennox Lewis.
Là, il faut du courage.
Juste du courage. Encore il est KO, il est KO. La droite.
In the fight, I thought for a moment there he was stopping that right uppercut. Lewis here, and Bruno is on the verge of going. He won't take a lot more, and this time it is stopped. And Lennox Lewis is still the WBC heavyweight champion of the world.
Mike Weaver versus Lennox Lewis. You could see straight away that Lennox Lewis was the better boxer in round 1. Lennox Lewis would lead with his jab and throw constant overhand rights, making every punch count. Round 6, Lennox Lewis would connect with Weaver, throwing a jab followed by an overhand right, sending Weaver to the canvas. Mike Weaver was not able to get back up, giving the win to Lennox Lewis by knockout. Terrel Biggs versus Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis would face former 1984 Summer Olympics gold medalist Terrel Biggs. Straight away in round 1, Lennox Lewis would lead with his jab and throw heavy right hands.
Works the body and head, but he can start well, he can fade.
He would close the distance and make it a dogfight, constantly pinning Terrel Biggs to the ropes. You could tell Lennox wanted this to be a dogfight, constantly working his way into the inside of Terrel Biggs' defense and throwing left and right hooks.
Lennox Lewis wanting a very good showing here tonight. Both men need.
Round 2 would be a bit different. Lennox Lewis would keep Biggs at distance and throw jabs. Round 3, Terrel Biggs would try to keep a steady distance from Lennox Lewis, but Lewis kept working his way in and throwing overhand rights that landed every time.
Jab and the right, maneuvering Biggs into the ropes. A couple of good punches and then back.
With 1 minute and 5 seconds left on the clock, Lennox would throw a jab that would miss Biggs but would connect an overhand right, sending Biggs to the canvas.
Lennox Lewis now sticking that jab in there, and down goes.
Terrel Biggs would be able to survive the countdown, but the fight wouldn't last much longer. The second Terrel got up, the fight was reset. Terrel would try to attack Lennox, but Lennox would land a right hook that sent Biggs to the canvas again.
Lewis.
But somehow, Biggs survived the countdown and the fight would resume.
You cannot be saved by the bell. Keep that in mind.
Lennox would get straight to work, throwing multiple right hands, and one would connect, sending Biggs to the canvas a 3rd time, and the fight would end.
His feet. He's wobbly. He goes down, and that's it. Down 3 times in the closing.
Donovan Rudolph versus Lennox Lewis. Round 1 would start, and both Lennox and Donovan would be hesitant to throw. Well, that's until Donovan Rudolph tried to do a UFC-style single-leg takedown. Later in the round, Lennox Lewis would land a right hand, sending Rudolph to the canvas. Rudolph would, however, survive the countdown. Round 2, straight away, Lennox Lewis would throw a left hook, followed by a right cross, sending Rudolph to the corner. Lewis would follow up with a series of left and right hooks, once again sending Rudolph to the canvas. Once again, though, Rudolph would survive the countdown. Later in round 2, Lennox would land a jab that would split Donovan Rudolph's defense and follow it up with an overhand right, followed by another series of left and right hooks. The ref would call the fight, and Lennox would win the fight by technical knockout. Frank Bruno versus Lennox Lewis. Frank Bruno and Lennox Lewis in round 1 would exchange multiple blows.
He's moving around as well.
And there Lewis just slipping.
Later in round 2, Lennox Lewis and Frank Bruno would do this.
Two of them there, clubbing away Mickey.
Round 7, Lennox Lewis would land a right hand that stunned Frank Bruno. Lennox would follow up with throwing a series of punches that Frank Bruno did not respond to, and the ref would step in and end the fight, giving Lennox Lewis the technical knockout.
Lewis here, and Bruno is on the verge of going. He won't take a lot more, and this time it is stopped, and Lennox Lewis is still the WBC heavyweight champion of the world.
Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis. This is a great fight as both fighters put everything they had into it. Straight away, round 1, Mike Tyson did what he does best, which is apply pressure to his opponents. Lennox was able to combat this by clinching with Mike Tyson.
Deux fois, le direct du gauche. Et Mike Tyson, on connaît son punch destructeur.
Lennox Lewis showed his spring boxing skills, being able to counter Mike Tyson and keep distance, not allowing Mike Tyson to have his way in the ring. Round 8 is when Lennox Lewis proved the world he was better than what people were giving him credit for. He would land a left uppercut followed by a right cross that made Mike Tyson's legs almost completely collapse from under him. The ref would intervene and count it as a knockdown. Not long after the first knockdown, Lennox would set up a perfect right hand to Mike Tyson's face, sending Mike Tyson to the canvas. Mike Tyson would not get back up in time. Lennox Lewis cemented himself as a victorious boxer, beating some of the best boxers of the era, showing his dominance in the ring. Make sure to like and subscribe. That's all for today.
Parce que Tyson est moins rapide, ça va encore à peu près, mais celui-là, c'est uppercut gauche.